If you're struggling financially and you're thinking, maybe I should just get a tiny home, let's listen to what this woman has to say about it first.
I'm building a tiny home, and I would like to preface by saying don't do it. I think that's all I had to say. Thanks for that.
So it's true, some people do like having the tiny homes and some people do not. But it's just crazy to think, if you think over the last couple decades, couldn't you imagine we'd be in a time where people are thinking, hey, I can't even get a home. Let's just get a little tiny home and put it in the backyard or on a piece of land. And that's not all bad, but I just never thought in this amount of time that was going to be the future and we would at a large scale be moving in that direction. The truth is the economy is having problems. People are struggling to make money. They're struggling to get jobs. They're struggling to hold jobs. Layoffs are rampant right now. So people are looking at different ways to cut costs. And before we get into this, because of when I lost my job, I didn't know what I was going to do. And I ended up starting an online business. And within the first 90 days of starting, I was able to replace my income. Now, I know a lot of people watching are in a situation like that. And if you haven't picked up my blueprint yet, it's going to be broken down into 3 different sections. You can grab it down below. I just want to make sure I can save you some time and money. So we'll get back to this.
Here's everything that just fucking sucks in my tiny house. Starting out strong, here's my living room, here's my kitchen, here's my dining room, and there's my bathroom. I know how most houses have storage? Yeah, we don't have that over here. Here's my heating and air for the entire house. I have 2 mini splits that were strategically placed right above the ceiling to where the air circulation cannot happen. Every single time the house gets somewhat hot, it will have gallons of water coming down into the floor, hence the extreme water damage. Here's the staircase that goes up to the loft that is actually, the stairs are too steep to where it could not meet code. Here's the other window unit that is like you can see, you feel? The same company that installed this absolute buffoonery of a AC system, they never fixed that fucking hole they said they would. Welcome to my bedroom, aka also my laundry room, because I can't fit it nowhere else. And my office, and my closet. So yeah, moral of the story, if you don't want to be living in a daggum shoebox that does not function very well at all, maybe don't build your own house at 18 and do everything on the absolute cheapest routes you can.
So clearly there's some problems that come up and different challenges, but the thing is too that there's problems when you own a full-size home. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't, there's going to be maintenance issues and things of that nature, but it seems like as we've gone along the process, there's corners that are being cut left and right, bad work done. It's just getting quality and on time seems to be a problem today. And I know everyone is tired of it and they're tired of the things that used to be quality are just getting worse and worse and worse.
There are 3 things that I regret in my tiny house build. First off is this fiberglass shower. I absolutely hate it. It's so generic and it's so plain. Not to mention when I ordered the shower pan, it came broken 3 times. Should have gone with something tiled like this. I could have customized it and made it look so much better. Number 2 is this custom closet. As you guys have been seeing in these past few episodes, this thing has been an absolute nightmare. What I should have done is went to IKEA, picked out a pack system, and tried to build it around the IKEA system. Obviously, IKEA wouldn't have a specific staircase to my measurements, but I could have adapted it, which would have been so much easier. And lastly, planning out the electrical way better than I did. I think during the planning, I just overlooked the whole electrical and plumbing thing. So now that I'm actually building it, it's coming back to bite me in the butt. I did plan out things like where the lights were gonna go and the outlets, but the air conditioner and running the correct wires was a whole other story. Not to mention, we also moved the breaker box from the inside of the bathroom to the outside of the house because obviously that's dangerous.
Now I appreciate the adventure of building your own little home and doing all the things necessary to get it set up, but you're taking time, it's costing you money. If you're taking time working on it, where you generate income. And it's like everyone's in this position where they're just trying to find costs, and I think what more people are gonna need to do, I know it's easier said than done, is they're just gonna have to be pushing on how can we generate more income. Because we're getting to a time where cutting costs, you can only do so much. And if you have a normal job, you only have so much time, and people need some leverage. So I appreciate the fact that they're trying to cut costs, but at the same time, it's like they're they're getting well over their head on things that they know competently what to do, and that's going to cause some additional problems and slow them down. But people are just in this situation where they're trying to figure out, how are we going to survive?
If this is the first time you're seeing my face, my name is Misty, and I transitioned from a traditional home to a tiny home this year, and I'm going to talk about one reason that I feel like I made a major mistake. And while I'm going to talk about this, I'm going to sit here and have my cold brew coffee out on my front porch on a summer afternoon, enjoying this nice Texas weather. Now, back to the reason why I think I made a major mistake, and it's probably not what you're thinking. The one thing that I feel like I failed in is not doing this sooner. I mean, seriously, not doing this sooner, not downsizing and getting rid of all of the needless things and stuff in my life, and creating a smaller space for me to thrive. I really feel like I'm thriving in this, and there is not a day that has gone by in the almost 2 months that I have moved in that I feel like I made a mistake. So if this is even on your radar, if you have ever thought about downsizing to a tiny home, if you don't know where to start, if you're in the process of it, whatever it is, I'm just here to encourage you that, I had a little bit of apprehension when I signed the closing papers on my home that I had built for me because I loved it. And I thought, Misty, what are you doing? But since the moment I walked through the doors of this house, I have felt nothing but complete and utter contentment. I mean, when I tell you, it is so nice to be able to have a place where I have everything that I need in close proximity and not have to worry about, cleaning a big area or having a whole lot of upkeep on the outside, or it's so relaxing. It's so relaxing. And I'm not even saying that this is something that you can only do if you're single. I think this would be perfect for a couple as well, especially if you're nearing retiring age or if you have the desire to travel, whatever. I mean, I could go on and on, but that is the one mistake and regret that I have, is that I didn't do it sooner. So cheers.
So it is nice to see somebody happy about it. And I love the idea of the downsizing. One of the things that I have thought about for a while now, for years, is that concept of when you own things, they can come and own you. And part of it, I'm happy to see people starting to kind of separate, and I'm trying to get rid of stuff myself with some stuff in downsizing. Another part of it is this just cope? Are people just coping with the fact that they can't afford these other things? Now, I'm all for cutting things out so you have more time. I'm all for that. She mentioned traveling, or she mentioned retirement, or, some of the, if you have a small space, maybe even a couple, fair enough. Now, with a family of kids, that's going to be tough. I just wonder if a lot of it is coping, or are people really, is it as if their decisions are being taken away and they're just having to cope? I don't know. I just want to see the opportunity for everybody to be able to choose whether they, have a regular house, or if they want to go a cheaper route into something like a tiny home. I just want to know, is it really a choice, or are people just kind of coping at this point?
The worst mistake that you can make when living in a shed house is not thinking about ventilation. Behind me is our old converted shed temporary house. I do not miss that thing at all. Was it an adventure? Yes. Would I do it again? Hell to the no. Unless I had to, I guess. I don't know. Usually they're a very small space. Air really needs to be moving because it can cause a lot of things that you don't think about. A lot of these things, they don't have vapor barriers in them. Very tiny space, a lot of moisture builds up. Mold issues, it can cause respiratory issues. So I definitely advise putting a bunch of windows, and I definitely suggest, if you have a loft, using a hole saw and making holes just to keep that air moving. As far as the worst things, that's pretty much the first thing that came to mind. I'm sure I can think of some others if you guys have questions, or if that's something that you're going to be doing soon. If you don't know me, my name is Casey, and I share tips and tricks and things that I've learned along the way in the past 10 years of all kinds of crazy, off-grid, self-sufficiency, nutty stuff.
The ventilation thing is a real serious problem for sure. I know I had family who had issues with that, and you had, things like mold, different, issues like that you got to be careful of, because now you're dealing with health issues. And of course, with that, it was more of a shed, and they converted it into a place to live. But those are things to keep in mind, that, you know, is the ventilation there? Is there going to be a mold problem? Or is the air flowing through there? And making sure it's actually a safe place to be able to stay, and not cut years off your life and you don't even realize it.
I live in a tiny house. Don't make the same mistake that I did. I paid $6,000 to get the water, electric, and plumbing hooked up from my parents' house to my tiny house. As they were doing it, it looked like something was not right. All of the pipes were in one trench, and we took videos, and we also let the guys know we had concerns, and they told us everything was fine, blah, 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 but we had pictures and videos for just in case. One day I came home, there was a piece of paper in my yard. It was a note from the county stating that my house was not in code. Fast forward, we ended up getting somebody to come out to check everything out. Thank God, because as they were doing the inspection, they saw that this was extremely out of code and an extreme safety hazard. So we told the company that did it in the first place. They came back out to fix it. As they were fixing it, the county came out again. The inspector ended up talking to the county and let us know that even though my parents' septic can hold mine as well as theirs, in order for both structures to be under code, they need to be on their own septic. Learn from me and do your research and make 100% for sure that your septic situation is in code and is taken care of before the work is done.
I think the moral of the story for the whole tiny home scenario is really, like this last lady mentioned, do your research, figure out why you're doing that. If it's something that, again, the finances, those are issues, and I understand that. You know, we're in the same boat here. The fact is, though, I want people to be able to have the options and make sure that it's not going to cost them more in the long run. So make sure you do your research, which is important for so many things, and know exactly what you're getting into. Because some people enjoy it, some people do not. But either way, today, in today's world, more people are going to need to learn to make more income outside of what they're doing, or a complete pivot, just to make it. And I want to save you guys some time and money. So go ahead and click the link in the description. You can grab the blueprint. It's going to give you a 90-day checklist and what to do exactly when. That way you're saving time and money on that. So hope that's helpful for you guys. See you next video.